efficient people get. It's completely, it's off the charts. What would you be like? 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 What would you be like?
3, 2, 1. And we're live.
Hello.
Shane Driscoll, how's it going, man?
It's going all right.
Welcome to the Landi Lodge.
Thank you for having me.
Coming all the way from Arizona.
Coming from Tucson.
Tucson. That's pretty awesome, dude. I mean, you're in town for the whole month.
Yeah. I didn't come specifically for the podcast.
I know, you didn't come specifically for the podcast.
I flew
You
in.
did
I flew
live
in.
here.
I flew in this morning. I fly out tonight.
Oh my God. So how long you been down there in Tucson? And tell everyone what you're doing down there.
All right,
What's
so
the deal? What's the gig, man?
I only did 2 months, but I'm going back. But anyway, I was a Wrangler at a ranch in Tucson, just outside Tucson. It's called the White Stallion Ranch.
Wow.
It's a guest ranch. They fit about 150 guests when they're really busy. And so they do rides. They have other stuff, rock climbing, biking, but as a Wrangler, I work with the horses.
So as a Wrangler, what does that entail? What is it that you're doing?
So I go out on rides with guests. I get the horses ready for the guests, feed the horses, groom them, tack them, like saddling and stuff.
So this is obviously rewarding work for you.
Oh, without a doubt.
What is it about doing this? Like, is it that you get to see the results of your work firsthand, or like what's the draw? What is it that's satisfying you about this work?
I don't know, because
You're an islander, man.
I am.
And you
I am a foreigner in this land. Well, in that land.
But look at you, man. It's transformed you a little bit.
Yeah,
it's become a part of you.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like a foreigner when I'm there. It's just I originally like coming from here. It's just so different.
You have a different upbringing.
Yeah, but now like I feel very comfortable out there. It's just like feels like a second home. All my friends there, the other Wranglers, like it's a great experience. But I guess I didn't what I'm just getting to is like I didn't know what the draw was before I went. I didn't know what.
You kind of just took a leap.
I took a big leap. I didn't know what I was going to like. I didn't know what I was going to be doing, really. Mm-hmm. But after working there for a little while, I mean, I did not anticipate how much I would like the horses. I've never been a horse person. Nothing against horses. I never really rode. I went to the ranch.
But you have a serious bond.
Now I
with
do,
horses.
yes.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a dog?
Oh, yeah.
How would you compare the bond with a horse as a bond with your dog?
I would say, I mean, the dog, because like a dog is like my dog or my family's dog.
Yeah.
Whereas a horse, it's like, it's a little different. It's not like I don't fully take care of it. I'm not like its provider, but it's not quite dog level for me. Some people, without a doubt.
Okay.
For me, it's not quite there, but I would say it's close. And I did not expect that.
Have you ever had a cat?
I haven't.
You haven't? Like, I was going to ask you to measure it against a cat too, but I obviously haven't had the same experience that you've had, but me and my family have gone horseback riding many, 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 many times.
Yeah.
And I've always felt that, like, it's funny because every horse I had was different.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely.
And I bonded more with other horses as opposed to others.
Yeah.
And it reminded me a little bit about having a dog. The idea of like a companion and that this horse trusts you and in some ways relies on you.
Oh, definitely.
It's a...
You...
I understand the draw of building a bond with a horse.
Yeah, no,
most
definitely. You really feed off of them, their energy, their emotion. Like you can tell, kind of. And so, like an example, I would say is, I had a nightmare of a ride with a horse I was on, and at the end of the ride, I could tell that he felt the same way. Like he was just as scared as I was. So basically, some backstory what happened. So
Gotcha.
I ride. So there's horses that you work. Everyone, like Wranglers, are assigned horses, and they work those horses. So I had primarily Sherman and Chief. Sherman had a Wrangler a while ago, and he's a guest horse, so like he'll get guests sometimes. I ride him because he's new as a guest horse, so they just kind of need someone to continue working him a little bit while he's still getting worked into being a guest horse. And then Clyde is my other horse, and he's never had a guest. He's had a Wrangler for I think a year. He's only 6. He was born on the ranch. So he knows nothing. Most of our horses are retired, so they're at least a little accustomed to having people riding them and stuff. But he is still learning. So, like, he's like a real project. And so I took him on a mountain ride.
Some horses can be stubborn. Is he a stubborn horse? Is that
he can be?
Gotcha.
He's he's young. Okay. So like if he gets like excited, he kind of just like.
So he's kind of still being disciplined.
Yeah, he's a 6-year-old. So
gotcha.
Like,
okay.
So we were putting rides up in the morning, and there was me and there was this other girl who was new. It was her first day, and it came down to a slow flat ride, which is just easy. You just go out for like an hour, a little over an hour, just walking on your horse. It was between that and a slow mountain, which is a slow ride, but you go up a mountain. And it was the Wednesday, it was Lookout Point, which is, I think, the steepest of our mountain rides. So it was between me and this other girl, and it was her first day, and I knew the horse she was riding is annoying, and she'd never ridden him before. I knew she was going to have a tough time. So I was like, all right, I'll go on the mountain. I've never done a mountain ride with Clyde. And I've done mountain rides.
But you were
before.
you were well.
And so, I've ridden Clyde, and so like I was like, I'm probably not gonna have fun, but I got to do it, so I might as well do it and save this girl the headache, I guess. So he had a Wrangler for a while, and when he was with the Wrangler, he was leading rides. Okay. And so now what I was doing a lot of was just working him in line, because the horse had to be used to walking in line. So I would ride at the back. But he's not used to it, so he gets impatient because he has to walk at the horse in front of him's speed instead of being at the front where he can just walk as fast as he wants. So we're heading out to the mountain, and he gets antsy. It's normal for him. I'm used to it. And then we get to the mountain, and like I start realizing, like, I don't know how he's going to be on mountain rides. I think he's done this specific ride like once with the Wrangler who rode him. I think, I could be wrong, but so I was like,
So remind me again, why did you have to take Clyde? Why couldn't you have taken another horse?
I think that week Sherman had a guest.
Gotcha.
So okay. Clyde was, or at least that day. So Clyde was the horse I was riding. I was assigned.
He was
like,
just the one
morning,
you were assigned. Okay.
Yeah. If I could have picked, I probably would have picked Sherman, because Sherman is really, I know he's really good on mountains, but Clyde I had no
Sherman's
idea.
a gentleman.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah. But I mean, nothing against Clyde. Clyde's a wonderful horse. He's just a little
dude.
Learning,
He's learning.
So we get to you kind of go up a little bit. It's like a hill that gets to a point where the Wrangler then checks everyone's saddles again. Mm-hmm. And then he gives like a brief, like, have you ever done a mountain ride before? Here's what you got to know, like leaning back, leaning forward, all this stuff. And then you go up the steep part. And it's a beautiful ride, but it's probably, I don't know, like in about like 20 feet that way, you have to go up 10, 15 feet. Oh. But it's like a zigzag, so it's not just a straight shot up. It's kind of a little more gradual, but it's steep quick. And when you do is you'll just leave a lot of room with the person in front of you. Mm-hmm. And going up, they'll go up kind of slow, and your horses are going to be looking at their feet. The horses are great on mountains. I did not expect it. I had never done a mountain ride before I worked on the ranch.
Well, they're very, I never went on like a mountain trail, but we were near some cliffs, and horses they're very conscious of their surroundings.
They are. And they're heavy. So they
has to do because like their eyes kind of go more
outwards?
No,
they see a lot more.
Yeah.
So they're very big, heavy animals. They have a good center of gravity. They're good at climbing. They're good climbers. They're surprisingly good climbers. I never thought they would be good climbers, but
well, you know what it is? It's like goats are really good climbers too.
I mean, goats are
and like their
climbers.
structure isn't really that different.
Yeah. So basically, and what I say to guests is, if you're nervous like about going up, just think like, could you walk up this? And if they say yeah, I'm just like, well, they have 2 more legs than you, so they can probably do it a little bit better than you. So
they got a better stance on balance.
Yeah, definitely. And like there were points where we were like building a trail.
It's a strong core. Horses probably got a really strong core.
I mean, they're huge. So
yeah, true.
They're
all
weight. I mean, like it looks funny because like they have these like stick legs, but they're so powerful.
But when you get up to like where the leg gets near the torso, it's like what their quad
would
would be.
They're like their thighs.
Dude, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
So you think like, oh, they must have delicate legs, but no, they're beast animals. Their legs don't break easily. So, so we're going up the mountain, and you leave like room for the guest in front of you.
Yeah.
We get to like the steep bit, and I'm not sure how quick Clyde is going to go up this mountain because I've never done a mountain on Clyde before this.
And Clyde's a baby, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a 7'3"
Yeah, I think he had done it once, but like I don't know. So I don't know how he's going to do on this steep bit of the mountain. So I leave like a lot of room. The guy before me is probably like more than halfway up. He's almost to the top, and I'm like, all right, Clyde, like let's go.
Let's pick it up.
And I was wrong. I should have waited. I did not expect how quickly he was going to go up that. He was almost like at a trot. Like a trot's like the really bounce. He was he was walking really fast. And you're not supposed to stop a horse on a mountain like that because you don't know. Like if you were climbing a mountain, would you want someone to just like pull on you and stop you? Like
no.
You would want to stop when you feel comfortable stopping. So you're not supposed to stop them because you don't know if they have a good footing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to get him to slow down a bit without fully stopping. But also he's not good with neck reining.
Right.
Because he's still learning. So like, I mean, he's good with it, but like not like a perfect. So like you got to be forceful and sometimes he doesn't know what you're saying. And so we catch up to the guy in front of me very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because he thought I was telling him to turn or if he was just nervous and going around this guy, but he turns off the trail. And there is no side of the trail on this mountain ride.
It's just plain old mountain.
It's just mountain. And we're not near a cliff. So I guess I don't have that much to worry about, but like you could easily die.
Oh yeah, it's a mountain.
Yeah, it's a steep part of a mountain. There's huge rocks everywhere.
All you got to do is hit your head on the wrong thing.
I'm on a horse that's 2,000 pounds. He's huge.
He's a big baby.
Huge baby.
Big baby.
The biggest baby. He's the largest. He's only 6, and he's the largest horse they have on ranch.
It's a big baby.
He's not done growing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like a 7'3"
Yeah.
Good luck managing that.
Yeah.
Couldn't pay me enough.
So he turns off the trail. And immediately it's just big rocks and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like there's no, like on a flat ride, if you go out of the trail, like, yeah, there might be some cactuses, but like it's still solid ground.
True.
Here, it's not solid ground. It's just rocks down. So he immediately loses his footing. He no longer, I don't think in that whole thing he had like a footing on the ground. It was just like ankles bouncing off of rocks.
I feel you.
Like if he does get a foot, it's just while he's stumbling and like he just goes right back.
But even that's impressive that even in like
they have
stumble, they can still
like that's the thing. Like like horses will go down sometimes, but like especially in a spot like this, like he's being really careful. I mean, obviously it doesn't sound like he's being that careful because he just did this, but he is trying to be careful. He's just not like he's a horse. He's not like a person who doesn't think that much. So like he's in the moment, trying to be very careful. Because he doesn't want to fall either.
Well, yeah. That could mean death for him too.
Yeah. So, while we're doing this, I try to yell for the Wrangler, who's at this point up over the cliff. Like I can't see him. You can't see him. So I kind of, but like I'm also distracted and like thinking about a million things. So I don't really yell very loud. I'm just kind of like, Matt. And he does not hear it. And so then I try to get the guests ahead of me's attention. So I'm just like, hey, Nick, could you get Matt for me? And he kind of like tries to look back, but he can't see. He and so he's just like, hey, Matt, I think Shane needs help.
Oh my God.
And so we're just stumbling and I'm just like thinking about like if I'm going to die or if I'm going to, because if I fall, I mean, like I'd fall. He's a super tall horse. I could break my arm just from the fall, let alone on rocks. And I would then fall down roll down this steep bit.
Right.
There's also a 2,000-pound horse walking around me. So like I don't know what to do. I'm just scared, honestly. And so then I see like a little flat bit. It's still rocky, but it's
a flat
level.
Bed. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I need to get there. And then like in the moment, I see his head like lock onto it as well. And so we're both focused.
So do you think you guys in some way were like telekinetically connected?
I'd like to think so. I mean, like, because they can feel your like body.
Definitely.
Like they can feel like your positioning and stuff. So
would you call it a symbiotic relationship? between the rider and the horse?
In like when you're on the horse, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
In like nature, I don't know if I would exactly say humans and horses, but like riding a horse,
True.
you are in this together. He knows that I can like lead him, so I can like tell him where to go, but then he can also
he understands you guys are like a team.
You can communicate and you're working together.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know if he felt that like I like looked, or if he just happened to see it, or if we were.
I mean, you both had the same
linked.
goal, so it's not crazy to think you both saw it on your own too.
So he stumbles his way to it, and we make it, and he gets kind of like a footing. I'm shaking, I'm breathing. I can feel him underneath
the adrenaline
me.
is settling.
Yeah, I can feel him taking really deep breaths, and he's just as scared as I am. And then Matt starts coming down towards me, and like I don't remember if I said it or if I just thought it, but I remember wanting to be like, "Can I just
stay here?
Stay here?
Wait." Because
this trail, you just go right up, turn around, and come right back down.
True.
So he's just like, all right, Shane, now just come right back up. And I'm just like, okay. So I get him back on the trail.
That was pretty good.
And immediately have to go right back up the bit. We just fell back down. He goes up a little more cautious, but also very quick. He does not want to be on that. And there are, at this point, like the other people are up. Matt went right back up. So I don't have to worry about him not having trails. So he just goes right up. I don't even think I looked, because it's a beautiful view. I don't even think I looked.
You were still kind of processing.
I was processing. I was also still focusing on the fact that we now have to go back down.
Yeah.
So you kind of turn around, and I'm kind of just catching my breath. And we start to go back down. And this time I'm just like, I'm waiting for this guest to get completely down before I even start to go down, because I do not trust Clyde.
Sure.
And he wanted to get off the mountain just as bad as I did. It's a good thing I left a room, because he very quickly descended. I was scared, but I was also just like, just get me. I was like, fine, if you want to trot down this mountain, just get me off of this mountain.
Well, it sounds like you definitely learned something.
Yeah.
Do you think Clyde learned something?
Oh, he better have learned his lesson.
Yeah, I was saying, is Clyde a better horse since then?
He better.
You and Clyde are going to have your own sitcom.
Oh yeah,
I'd watch the Shane and Clyde show.
You would?
I think the world. I think America needs it. I think America needs to understand the Wild West a little more.
Funny.
And I think we could learn from Shane and Clyde.
Yeah.
The importance of trust and discipline.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. Well, before I get into it, I just want to say, when we got back, I've never seen a sweaty horse before. It looked like he got out of the pool. He was so sweaty because he was so scared.
He thought he was going to die.
He was literally drenched.
Because honestly, that's probably is that the first time he's fallen like that, you think, in his life?
I'm not sure. You're
not sure?
It could have been on a mountain like that, having like a scary moment.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
Could be a wake-up call, man. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Animals learn. They have the ability to learn what behaviors will keep them alive and what
Definitely.
behaviors will kill them.
Yeah.
That's the Darwinian framework, after all.
Yeah.
The Clydes who, learn to keep their balance and are more disciplined tend to survive. The Clydes who don't tend to not.
Yeah. But so you were saying about like lessons from Shane and Clyde, or like a TV show almost. It's funny you say that, because we had a joke. My nickname there was Shane the Train.
Shane the Train.
They called me Shane the Train, and Clyde's nickname was the Mammoth. So it was Shane the Train and his Mammoth.
Bro.
And it's, dude, like I had this friend Steve, and another Wrangler there, and he would like, at one point, like my grandpa came with his brother-in-law, and like
awesome.
they come all the time, and they were already planning on coming when I was like, before I went.
Of course.
It just happened to work out that I was there. And so like he's telling them like the tales of Shane the Train. I swear he's trying to turn me into like the next like Paul Bunyan. Like Paul Bunyan wrestled his blue ox and like made the Rockies. Shane the Train and his Mammoth.
Man, what really pulled you out there? So like you've been an island boy your whole life with the biggest city in the world down the street, like city and island.
Yeah.
And you went for something completely different from the two of them.
It was
what pulled you out there, dude? What made you do this?
I guess curiosity, and also just like kind of wanted to just change things up for a bit, because like I've been going to school for a long time with no clear direction until more recently, where I kind of locked into like what I want to do and pursue that. But
and what is that?
Music. I go for music.
Cool.
I want to teach like preferably like a college.
You'd be a great music teacher.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But so I had been going to school for years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it's been. And I mean, like, I don't regret taking my time because I've done a lot of stuff. I've changed majors. I've gotten experience. So I don't regret it at all. And it's just been Nassau, so it's not expensive.
True.
So I don't regret it, but it's also just kind of like after all these years, it's just kind of like I could use a little break, change things up. I've been working in the same liquor store job for 2 years. So I kind of was just in a routine. The only thing I really felt like I would have missed or that I missed was my girlfriend's, just not because that was tough. But
Want to give her a little shout out?
Yeah, Sophia, if you're watching, love you. She goes to school with me. She's a music major.
Very cool.
But yeah,
Birds of a
so
feather.
Yeah. So she was the only thing I mean, like, obviously my family and my friends, but like, I don't know, my friends have all gone off to school. My family is all...
Everyone's having their own little adventure, and you were feeling you had a call.
Yeah.
You had a call to adventure.
And so the only thing I really felt holding me here was my girlfriend, but I felt like she would understand that. I mean, like, I just went
and
for
she
a
obviously
bit.
supports you,
Yeah.
which is great.
So,
it's a great thing.
Yeah. So I just decided to just go out there. And I know the son of the owner. He's the head wrangler. I've known him 10 years. I've known him since actually my whole life, but I haven't seen him in about 10 years.
That's wild.
And I was there with my family for the first time in about 10 years this Thanksgiving, and I got to see him, and it was just like just as I remembered when we were kids. And I was talking to him, and I was like, hey, I was thinking about taking time off from school. Like, could I come out and do some work?
Do you think in some ways this is reconnecting you to your childhood, or at least a piece of your childhood?
I would say at least a piece, because I didn't really ride as a child, and this is very different.
But you were on the ranch.
But
you would go to the ranch,
yeah.
you know? So it was almost like, it's funny, it's like it was foreign to you, but there was like that little slice of comfort.
Yeah, no, the ranch itself felt very homey, because I had known it growing up. It was just like this place we went to every year for Thanksgiving for a week. Mm-hmm. It was this home away from home that I hadn't been to in 10 years. But it, no matter how much they've changed, it still just feels the same. So I told him that I didn't have anything really going on. So I asked if I could come out and work. And he was just like, hell yeah, man, come on out. His name was David True. His dad, Russell, owns the ranch. And I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I didn't really know the other Wranglers that well. I kind of got to know them while I was there as a guest for Thanksgiving, but for a couple days, I didn't even know. I knew the Wranglers go on rides, but I didn't know anything else about the job. Don't know what else they do. I mean, I could make assumptions, but I had no idea.
True.
And so I was kind of just going in blindly, but I just figured, like, what the hell, I guess. I didn't really think about it until, like, people started saying stuff to me, because, like, to me, it was just like, yeah, I'm going to just go be a Wrangler. I don't know. Why not?
Sure.
But, like, I'd say that to people, and they'd be like, that's crazy. Like, you're crazy. Like, what? Like
no, man, no. I don't think
well, no, I don't, not crazy in, like, a bad way. Just crazy,
I know what you
like,
mean, crazy.
I'm
like,
not,
damn,
like,
dude. I
crazy
gotcha.
because, like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to just try out working as a Wrangler. And people are just like, how are you not, like, freaking out? Like, it's,
because what do you got to lose? What do you have to lose right
now? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I would be talking to guests, and I would tell them, like...
You got to take adventures like this in your life.
Definitely. So, like, people would ask me where I'm from, and I'd say, like, oh, I'm from New York. And they're like, how did you end up here? And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I come as a guest, and I just decided to come out here and work. And they're just like, that's crazy. And I was like,
you know what it is, man? Because, like, you know, and I'm not saying we do this in a malevolent manner, but we kind of make assumptions about people from, like, where they're from and what the culture is around them. So it's hard for them to wrap. It's like, you were a New York City Island boy and you wanted to come here? Like, that doesn't make sense. And like, people from where you're from don't want to do that. Yeah. You know? So it's like you're in a way, you're almost like shattering an illusion.
Definitely.
You know?
And it's also because being a guest there, you just think of the Wranglers as like, this is just their life.
I was going to ask you, how are the people different from the people around here?
They're not so different.
I figure the basics are the same.
Yeah, no, really not that. I mean, like, obviously...
But, like, do they value certain things? Well, I mean, they have to have some sort of different values. Like,
I mean, like...
they value the sun more than we do.
Oh, yeah.
We value TV more than they do. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Like,
but at the same time, it's just like, it was my bubble on the ranch. Like, if you go into the town, if you go into Tucson, it's not that, especially, like, in the city, it's not that different. It's not that different. The ranch in the middle of the desert...
That's one thing.
That's really different. But the people aren't that different. I mean, it's like different opinion. I mean, like political opinions and stuff, but
Like, and that's just as having different values.
it's just
you know?
exactly.
But the moral values, would you say, are the same?
I would say, I mean, not to like knock anyone here. I feel like a lot of the people I met there were a bit more into like hard work, a lot more like blue collar kind of people. Whereas here, I guess I know, me personally at least, I know a bit more. I mean, like I live in a suburban area. It's very...
Well, dude, that's funny, man. Because like, look, I'm a computer programmer. I'm a digital content director. My work primarily involves me being on a computer.
Yeah.
But when I lived down in Charleston, back when I first came out of college, dude, I was working for a stonemasonry. Yeah. And I was doing work like that. I was working forklifts. Yeah. I was using a loader to load a bunch of fucking like rocks or like pebbles into a truck so they could be delivered to a job site. I was driving a truck. Yeah. I was doing kind of stuff like that, and it's different. It's a different feeling. It's a different satisfaction. You know, it's not like, look, don't get me wrong, writing computer code or making something in Photoshop. There's a lot of I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. But I got a lot of satisfaction out of those jobs too, and it was almost like a different sort of satisfaction. It's weird, man. It's like we're all like you're pointing out, we're all the same, but we're all different too, because like the things we do make us feel different. Yeah, you know. How do you think? Because like you say, you want to work in music, but do you think you'll ever have some sort of blue collar work attachment to you? Like, on weekends, are you going to be volunteering at like local Suffolk County ranches or something? Like, I mean, you know, like
who knows, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I had the opportunity to work like a full-time job at this ranch at some point in my life, like.
Why the hell not?
I'm sure I would. I would love to, but like I don't know. Like it's weird because like I don't really think about it too much. Like 30 years from now, if I succeed in all like what I'm doing with school and I end up being like a college professor 30 years from now, if that's all I'm doing, I don't know. Maybe I'll be working with horses. I really don't know. Like I've learned in my time at Nassau that like you don't know. Like
dude, no, I would have never got. It's so funny. It's like I ended up doing the shit I used to do when I was 12. Yeah. Like I used to work in Adobe. It was Adobe. Yeah. It was Macromedia Flash, and then it was bought by Adobe, became Adobe Flash. Yeah. I think they've discontinued this program since then, but I used to do like animations in there. And I was writing, I didn't even realize I was writing in a programming language because I was writing in something that was called ActionScript. Yeah. So like if you press play, it would play the movie, or if you hit options, it would take you to an options menu. I didn't even realize I was doing all that. Yeah. Then I kind of got away from it. And after I got out of school, it's like I fled right back to it. I didn't even realize it was like a subconscious thing, you know? Which, like, I guess what I ask you is, like, were you doing music in your childhood? Was music something that you...
Well, I was actually just going to say, like, that was kind of like me in music. Like, I played in bands in, like, early, like, high school. And, I mean, like, I played bass and piano since I was a kid. But then when I was going off to college, I was kind of just like, all right, I got to pick, like a... I'm using air quotes for the people listening, a real job. Like,
real job.
Exactly. Like, so like, I was like, oh, I can't go for music. Like, oh, that's silly. Like I was being like the parent who's like, oh, get a real job. And my parents were like, why don't you go for like music? And I was like, no, I need a real job. So I went for, first liberal arts, but then I went into information technology and I was working with computers, and I love computers. I have always, since I was a kid, I've always been into computers. But like, I thought I would have really liked it because I was like, oh, I like working with computers. I like fixing computers. I do Photoshop and stuff like that. I love that.
Of course.
And I just didn't like the schooling for it. I just wasn't enjoying myself. It was just like, I don't know, not a great point in my life, I guess. And then I knew some people in the jazz band at school. And there was no bassist in the Nassau Community College's jazz band at the time. And so my friends were like, hey, like, why don't you come by and play bass in the jazz band? And I was like, all right, I've never played in school, couldn't read music. And I was like, all right. So I went and I tried out, and the professor was like, great, come on by. So I started playing in the jazz band. And then before I knew it, I switched my majors. I started I went head first into it. I originally wanted to go for composing because I love writing. But then I kind of fell in love with music theory.
Interesting.
And I mean, because that plays into the composing, because I like the sort of like the theory behind it and stuff.
Of course.
But then there was a fire in one of the music buildings, and the building was closed for the whole semester. and it was the building where we had our practice rooms, and so everyone hung out there.
Oh, wow.
So after we lost the building for that semester, we just hung out in like the classrooms that weren't being used. So I, as a joke, I bought chalk, and I started like pretend like I was like Professor Shane, and like it was like a joke, and I would like teach a class. So like me and my friends would be hanging out in like a classroom, and I would just start like writing on the board, and
Of course.
and I'm good at music theory. I always did really well in the class, and so like my friends would ask me for help, like tutoring them, and then like it turned into like I would just like be on the board like teaching a lesson to like a bunch of people. And it wasn't even like a joke at that point. I was just helping them with music theory.
That's so crazy. So you just, man, it chose you. It's choosing you. That's what that means, man.
All my friends jokingly would call me Professor Shane. They'd call me Professor Shannon, actually, because
Shannon?
my middle initial is T. So all my
Shannon.
so like all my like Instagram and stuff is all Shane T Driscoll.
Shane
and they
Thomas Driscoll.
Yeah, so they read it as Shannon Driscoll.
Oh, dude, your initials are STD.
They are STD. I get that. Yeah. Well, it stinks because when I was born, that wasn't what they were called. So my parents didn't think of it.
Oh my God.
And then when you and I were going through school, they were called STDs. But now they're not even called that anymore. They're called STIs now. So it was just...
Isn't there a difference between STIs and STDs?
No, STI is just like the new medical word for STD. Like
I always thought there was like... I always thought there were two different things. I could be wrong. I'm not a fucking doctor.
From what I know, it's just the new... Because they were like, oh, they're not diseases, they're infections. So like they changed it.
They changed it to infections. So
it was-
HIV is an infection? Yeah, because AIDS is the disease. HIV would be the infection that gives you the disease.
But yeah, so like they're primarily referred to as STIs now.
Oh. I guess you get... And then the STI is what gives you the STD.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because like AIDS, AIDS is a disease.
Yeah.
You know,
But
so it's like the HIV.
Well, I don't know if you would call that a sexually transmitted disease. You would call HIV the STI, and then AIDS is just a disease.
True. That's okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So it was just.
So you're a doctor now?
Yeah.
You're a cowboy doctor?
It was just the window of us being taught what they were, that they were called STDs. So people like older than I am, like. People like my parents' age and stuff, they don't like really call them that. And then kids now are taught STIs. So it's just like the window, the window that I would be made fun of, like those years of my life, high school and middle school, were when it was referred
to. Damn. The worst possible times, dude.
But yeah,
you ever get an STD?
I haven't, no.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Keep it clean, baby. Welcome to the clean club. You ever have a scare?
No.
Fair.
Yeah. At least I guess I've never thought of it, but no.
That's good. No, it's good. You don't want to be in that place.
Yeah. But yeah, so they call me Shannon. So they called me Professor Shannon, and like I kind of realized like, oh, I'm just like tutoring like my theory class. Like a ton of the people in class, I ended up like basically tutoring them and helping them.
That's insane. That's so cool. Like I said, man, it's choosing you.
Yeah.
But,
and so everyone was just telling me that I'm a great teacher, and I kind of was just like, oh, maybe I'll teach music.
It was a call.
Yeah.
Another call to adventure.
Yeah.
And you don't seem like one to deny them.
Exactly.
You flew 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
But outside of your cowboy life, I wanted to get into the play you're writing.
Yes. Yes. So my play, so early stages still. A lot of people don't know about it. I'm writing a play. It's called a ghost opera. I'm writing it with my mom, who's a playwright. She's had a couple shows off Broadway.
Awesome.
And I kind of had the idea, just one day randomly, I had the idea for like this story. Actually, when I first thought of it, it was like almost like a Henry Selick, Tim Burton style, like animation in my head that I would think about. Like I thought of it as like almost like Nightmare Before Christmas. And so I mentioned it to my mom, and her being the playwright that she is, was just like, we have to sit down and write this. And I was just like, all right. But I'm like not great at just making myself sit down and write.
You're more like spontaneous, like you kind of write on a stream of consciousness?
Like when I write music,
Yeah.
I'm terrible, because if I don't write the whole song in the first sitting, it won't get
It won't get
finished.
done?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I've been fortunate to have...
I'm like that if I like... because I don't know how you are. When I'm like playing music, the song spontaneously like finds me as I'm kind of just fooling around.
Yeah.
And if I don't record myself doing it on my phone, I'll forget it. I'll forget the whole song the next day.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm pretty much the same way.
Gotcha.
Not that I would forget it after like I have a pretty good memory, so like I will. It'll just come to me. I'll just kind of work it out. I'll just make a phone recording, and then I'll come back to it.
Cool.
But yeah, so I knew I was never going to get this play done on my own. So my mom was like, "Listen, I will help you write it. I'll sit down and write it. You just tell me about it. I'll write. I'll basically like be in the room with her, walking around, just kind of like brainstorming, and she'll kind of write out like a script, and then she'll read it back to me, and I'll like say like, okay, I was thinking more like this and that, and so we're kind of writing it together.
It's cool.
And it's about a pianist who dies. He's just on the brink of becoming like the great, and he dies. And
so he's like a piano prodigy, you would say.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so he dies, and then as a ghost, he can't play the piano because he's got the ghost hands. He's got ghost hands. Like, see, when I thought of it, like, because everyone assumes it's a comedy, because like I'm just like,
well, comedy and tragedy is just a matter of perspective.
Exactly.
So what you're saying can be both funny and really sad.
So like when I first had the idea, it's like I'm just like, oh, he has ghost hands, like, and like now it's like a really serious, like not super serious, like it's still, I think it can be light, and you can, it's not like serious, but like it's a drama, I would say more of now. But yeah, so he dies, and as a ghost, he can't play the piano because he's got the ghost hands, and he realizes that he can sing because he has this like beautiful ghostly wail that's almost like a vibrato, like operatic, like voice. And he meets this medium.
Which that's very clever, because that's kind of how the like typical ghost sounds are.
Yeah,
it is
exactly,
kind of like has a lot of vibrato in it.
Yeah. So he meets like a medium, and who is an opera singer and a fan of his. And so he meets him, and then he's kind of like they work on like an opera together, and I don't want to get too into it.
I won't spoil it too much, but you are workshopping it this summer, aren't you?
I'm thinking about it, and it's nothing set in stone. So my mom has.
I think it's a brilliant idea. Dude.
Yeah,
I really like the premise.
Thank you. My mom has like a theater she's a resident artist at, and this summer she has a month to workshop a play. She hasn't set in stone what she's working on yet, but she wants to work on a ghost opera with me and workshop it. But if we don't get it together, because I'm going to be going back to the ranch, and if it doesn't work out, she might just do something else. But she wants to do the ghost operas. So
that's cool, dude. I'm
hoping because I mean, it's really on me. I have to just write some music, so I'm hoping I can kind of kick myself in the butt and get myself to work on it and get it ready to the point. So what they'll do is they would do like reads, like public, like live reads, like bring.
Yeah,
like an audience.
Like workshopping.
Yeah, bring.
I'm sure from those reads, dude, based on like a certain actor's portrayal of a character, it might inspire a whole new vision.
Oh yeah, no, it does.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
that's how like doing those kind of things are important.
We've done a couple of reads, and it really gives you like new perspective because you get to hear what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, you get another artist's perspective, because I think a lot of actors are in their own way definitely artists.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been working on that play, and so hopefully we'll be working on that this summer. I don't know for sure, but yeah, if all things work out, then yeah, definitely. I will let you know. Maybe I'll come back on the podcast and we can talk more about it when there's more to talk about.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you'll be back in the summer?
Yeah, I don't.
When are you back? When's Shane back for good? And obviously all plans are tentative.
Yeah, I don't have a return flight yet. I typically like what I did last time was I just bought a one-way ticket and then just kind of figured it out while I was there.
Cool.
So I'll leave in a couple weeks to go back, because I imagine I won't want to be there in the summer. So that's why I wanted to go now. Like I'm going back so soon because like I really want to just like get it in, because I'm going to eventually have to go back to school and stuff. So this is, I just feel like a really good window where I can just kind of work more. So I'm going back to the ranch for another couple months. Probably June is when it starts to get like really hot. So
yeah, it's going to be a pain because you're in Arizona.
Yeah.
That's when the desert feels like the desert.
So I imagine I will just be miserable and I'll probably just come home.
And then the weather? How's the winter weather in Arizona been?
Typically, I guess I don't know, because they had a very cold winter while I was there.
Interesting. Well, what's a cold winter for Arizona? What does that entail?
I mean, there were a couple days where
40 degrees?
There were a couple days in the 30s. It snowed one of the last days I was there. when I first got there, they had just had a freezing week. Apparently, like got down to the 20s, I think.
Jeez,
That's what
cold.
That's what I heard. But when I got there, it was actually kind of warm. It was like high 50s, low 60s during the day, and then like 40s in the morning.
How does dry cold feel different than a more humid cold like out here?
I never felt like it was super cold. I don't know the science. I don't know what is technically right. Because I'm sure there's a real answer. Like, I'm sure like a scientist would be like, humidity would make it feel warmer because like the water or something. I don't know.
It's just weird how I actually think we're just good at people are just good at adapting to weather. Because, dude, like I moved down when I lived in Charleston for a while. Like, typically, I'd say for a lot of the year, you're dealing with 75 plus. Sometimes to put it bluntly, it's hotter in Charleston than it is here in New York.
Yeah.
But like I never really felt it.
Yeah.
So I kind of adapted quickly to it.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But like my brother and my dad make fun of me because there was a time where I came home for Easter and I was helping them. We decorate the yard. Like we're my parents are very festive when they decorate the house for the seasons and the incoming holidays. So we're decorating the house for like Easter. And it's like 70 degrees out. And my brother and my dad, they're in like shorts and like a sleeveless shirt. And they're like sweating. I'm in jeans and a soccer jersey. Yeah. And I'm fine. I'm not sweating. It's just, It was just so crazy. Because like, it's not like I'd been down there for like 5 years. At that point, I'd been down there like 5 months. Yeah. And it's just crazy how quickly some people can adapt. So how much of it do you think was you actually just adapting to how Arizona is?
I think.
And how much of it is like.
I think I was just really influenced by New York weather because, like, when I was there, I wasn't as cold as like some of the people were.
Gotcha.
When it got really cold, and like when it was like in the 50s, I'm working outside. I would start to get warm. I mean, you're working in the sun. The sun is hot.
Exactly.
Arizona desert sun, and you're doing a lot of manual labor. So I would be like super sweaty, like working on a mountain. And like everyone else would be like, I mean, like hot, but like not as bad as me.
Exactly, not as bad.
I think it's just because I'm just not used to it, but.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a completely other side. Like, at least I was still on the East Coast. You went inland West Coast. Yeah. Like, I was still right on the, my geography wasn't all that different.
Yeah. But yeah, well, when I got there, what they were doing was they were building a new mountain trail.
Interesting.
So like a flat ride trail, you just ride horses. Like you map out the trail with like stacked rocks so that you can know where to go. And then you just start sending rides out on it. And the horses dig into the trail with their feet. And it makes a new trail. But a mountain trail, you have to like clear a trail through a mountain. This is how I got the nickname Shane the Train.
Shane the Train.
So
Clyde the Mammoth.
Because it was kind of slow when I first got there. Like they weren't busy. So the first like 2 weeks straight, it was slow enough to where like a bunch of us could go up on the mountain every day.
Cool.
And
that's really cool.
We would just bring some shovels, some rakes, and then I had my pickaxe. So they called me Shane the Train because they would find like I pulled the big rocks. So like they'd find like a big rock in the ground. It'd be like some people would just be like Train, and then I'd come like chugging along with my pickaxe, and I would just like rip.
How does that feel, man? Do you feel powerful?
Yes,
you feel
it definitely went to my head. I definitely thought I was like this big tough man. I mean, they call me Shane the Train.
You're Shane the Train. Yeah. They gave you Clyde.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely...
You're taming the mammoth.
Yeah. And like, it would be like the kind of thing where like, I would be working, I would be like pulling rocks on this mountain, and then I'd stop for a second to like have a break, and I would just like look out, and I'm on a mountain looking out at the Sonoran Desert. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, what is my life? Like, how did I get here? Like, cause like a week earlier, I was in New York in the cold winter, and then now I'm just on a mountain in Arizona digging a trail. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, that's crazy. But it was really cool because they don't build trails very often. I think he said it had been over 10 years since they last added a trail. So it was great to like, I can now say I built this trail.
You built this. You'll always be able to go back to that trail and be like, I built this. Yeah. That's cool. See, that's what I'm trying to say before when it's like, it's a different satisfaction.
It is.
You know? That's so cool, dude.
Yeah. And then we can get into the horses.
Sure. Tell me about these horses.
So
tell me all about the horses.
Yeah. I didn't expect how much I was going to like them. I've never been a horse person. Like, nothing against horses. I just never really rode as a kid. And
when I rode as a kid, I fell in love with this horse, Stubby.
Yeah.
It gave me this is the most stubborn horse we got.
Is it?
But for some reason, me and Stubby just connected. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Maybe it's because I was like a kid, so I didn't weigh anything.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh.
Do you remember what it looked like?
He had black fur. Is it fur? Is it hair? What is it? What's on a horse?
It's like hair.
Hair. So he had black hair with like white. It was like black. It was a black and white horse, and like the white stripes would be like on his nose.
Yeah,
his
blaze. Yeah.
His blaze. Yeah, his blaze. So that's cool. What to call it. He was a pretty big horse, but it's like him and I just bonded. When I got off him, he was following me around like a puppy dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I got him off him at the end of the trail, and he just like I left the gate. He would come to the gate.
Yeah.
And like he was just following me around like a puppy, dude. And it was like, damn, I fell in love with that horse.
Oh yeah.
I was like 14. I was like 13, 14. Yeah. I was young.
I had the horse Chief.
I love that name.
Yeah, he was the horse I rode as a guest for Thanksgiving.
That's cool.
And then occasionally I would get to ride him when I was a Wrangler.
Is Chief your favorite?
Chief is without a doubt my favorite. So Chief is he's very mean to other horses. He's a big horse, not huge, but he's a big horse. He's a paint horse, so he's like white and brown splotchy.
I got you.
And he's a draft, so he's like mixed with some kind of large horse breed.
So they have mutt horses?
Yeah. So like
that's crazy.
The paint horses are typically normal sized horses, but he's mixed with some large breed, so he's like a big paint horse. And he's the only one we have. So I think he's a beautiful horse. And like I said, he's very mean to other horses, but he's nice to people. And I really bonded with him. And he's just fantastic. Like it would be like they'd tease me, like they'd call like, oh, can someone get Chief for Bob? And I'd be like, everyone would just look at me.
Would you ever ride horseback like across country?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you ever do something like that?
That's crazy.
It is definitely crazy. I mean, you already did a crazy thing.
I mean, yeah.
Up the ante.
I have to do an all-day ride first, and then I'll let you know.
Fair.
I had never done the all-day ride. It's like,
bro, my groin
7 hours in the saddle.
Yeah.
And like it's tough.
How like
I haven't done it.
How stretched was your groin the first few weeks you were there?
Not too. It's more. Big? I felt it more in my
knees. Knees. Okay.
I felt it more in my knees.
Gotcha.
And it's also because I had no experience, so I had very bad like technique and form. I didn't know how to ride a horse. I learned on the job.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I'm not great, but now I'm much better.
Much better when you're more experienced.
I mean, riding a horse a couple hours a day, 5 days a week will really...
Sure.
Especially when you're riding the Clydes of the world. You learn faster on, like, horses that... Like a guest horse. Like, when I rode Chief as a guest, I was like... I would have said, like, oh, I'm a pretty good rider, because, like...
Okay.
And then now, when I went back to work, I realized it wasn't me, it was just Chief.
It was Chief. That's funny, because I in the back of my head, I'm like, yo, every time I rode a horse, like I was smooth.
Yeah.
Horse is well trained. I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nick.
But I know, it's the reason I put it in the back of my brain, because like, okay, Dr. Ego, we're going to put you in the back of the bus.
It's the horse. I mean, like Chief has been a guest horse for probably like 10 years.
Exactly. He's been all over. He knows.
He's on autopilot.
Truth.
So like,
oh my God. Even horses have boring day jobs.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Son, I've been doing this 10 years. The benefits haven't gotten better. It's not like they feed me more.
No, older horses, not always, but
do
like
older horses get the better benefits? Do you guys hook them up?
Well, when a horse gets too old, we'll retire it to like a kid horse. So no more like full-sized adults.
Gotcha. So he gets the easy life.
And like if they get kind of like...
son, Chief's been here. He's paid his dues for 10 years.
He's still not that old, so he's still got a couple years. Like
How
we have
old
like
is Chief?
I think late teens, early 20s. No, probably in his 20s.
How long do horses typically live?
Late 20s, early 30s. So Chief's probably like...
So
I think he's probably like close to 20.
That's crazy.
I don't know though. I'm not totally sure.
That's crazy that horses live that long.
Yeah.
Damn.
So we have
30
like
years.
we had a horse Tracker. 33 maybe. He's an old horse.
Old Bucky.
But he's just like a super calm old man horse, whatever. He just gets kids some now and again.
That's really cool.
And like so like when they get to like that, like we'll if they're old and kind of feeble or weak, we'll give them more food to kind of make up for it. Mm-hmm. So they do get, but they treat the White Stallion treats their horses very well.
That's cool.
They don't like when they're done with a horse, they won't sell it. They'll just retire it and just keep. It'll just get to hang out for the rest of.
No, they have a retirement plan.
Yeah, basically
like they paid their dues. They get to live the life of luxury.
They give us some work and then they get.
That's very cool.
Their retirement.
That's very cool, man.
They only will.
So you can be a business person and a humanitarian at the same time.
So like they'll only put a horse down if they like have to.
Yeah. Well, it's because you know what it is, man. They definitely bond with these horses too,
Oh,
and they
definitely.
learn to love them.
Oh no, I had the misfortune of being there to put a horse down.
Damn.
And they do care. Like, they care.
Of course they do.
And it's crazy because this was a new horse. It got there. It was a scary omen for me because my first day there was the first time they took it out on a ride.
Oh shit!
It was me, three other Wranglers, two of which were on Nugget and an unnamed paint horse. And the Nugget and the paint horse were new. And I was also new, so I was like, "Oh, it's me and the new horses." And so we took them out on a ride, just the four of us, and it was cool. And then a couple of days later, they turned them out into the pasture with all the other horses, and they only do it in pairs so that they has a friend. So like Nugget and the paint horse were friends.
Cool.
So they'll turn them out in pairs, and so they turn them out with the other geldings. And I think it was even just a couple days, and we're up on the mountain.
Interesting.
And we get over the radio. We hear I'm with David, and we hear his stepmother over the radio. Like, David, can you go to 3, which is like the other channel, which you'll only go to in like emergencies.
Gotcha.
So he switches to 3, and she's just like, horse was kicked, broke its leg. We need you to, can you get down here? And so like, we all go in, we get back, and we can just see them out in the pasture with this horse. They're all standing around this horse, and we all hop the fence. And it was very goofy up on the mountain, but then very quickly went very serious tone. We're all just kind of like quiet, walking over, hop the fence into the pasture, and we walk over, and it's a bad break.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, you don't realize how bad that is for a horse, but like, you can't give them a cast. They're going to try to walk on it. Like, there's very few things that you can do, and it's expensive. Like, you'd have to send the horse somewhere to work, to like recuperate for a really long time, and it might not even work. Like a break that bad, like, there's really no options.
That's so rough, dude.
And so what happened was it had like treat residue on its mouth. So I guess guests were given horses treats, which is fine. They're allowed to. But he's new. And so I guess what we're assuming is another horse was mad that he got treats and kicked him. Or something along those lines. Something happened after they got treats, and a horse kicked him in his back leg. It was a bad break. Like, not even fracture, just clean snap.
Damn.
So we're all standing out in this pasture holding the horse. The Guri, our herd manager's holding him. They call the vet's on his way. And so as soon as the vet got there, he just takes a look, and he's just like, yeah, he has to be put down. Like, there's nothing. So I'm literally like 10 feet away, not even, because we're kind of like, I'm kind of like the 4 of us who were there, other than like the vet and Gree and the Trues, the other Wranglers who were there, we're just kind of keeping horses back. It was like me and a couple of my buddies. And so I'm like 5-10 feet away, and the vet, he's sedated at this point already.
Gotcha.
So he's just kind of standing there looking, he just looks sad. And then the vet comes over and he looks at him, he's like, yeah, I got to put him down. And so he has like, it's a shot, he just gives it to him in his neck, and immediately like makes contact, horse hits the ground.
Damn.
He does it kind of nice, where he kind of like, the way he like rests the head, he kind of is more gentle than just like a flop down on the ground. But yeah, the horse is on the ground in a second. And so he just kind of listens for a heartbeat, because like they'll breathe after they die.
Right.
For like a little bit. So you poke the eye if there's any activity, you listen for a heartbeat and stuff, and then he's like, yep, he's down. And so then they bring out a tractor with some chains hooked up, and they lift it into a bed, and they go and bury it out in one of the pastures.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, it was really rough. And it was like my first week there, and I was like, it was scary. It was like on like an omen kind of way. Like, I was like, oh God, like, because
honestly, you know what I think it did actually? I think it actually just humanized the horses for you.
That, well, definitely.
I really think it probably did that. And then you got a quick look at how much all these people care about this horse, and how difficult it is to like, it's a real living thing with feelings and bonds and attachments. It has a heart, you know?
Yeah, it was rough. I cry very easily, and I was trying real
hard
hard.
not to cry.
Really hard.
It'd be
not to
hard.
cry.
It's a hard thing to watch. I could picture myself getting choked up looking at something like that.
And like I'm with like these other Wranglers and like my boss and the family and everything, and I'm just like, I don't want to like just sit here crying. I've also only been here a week. I didn't. And, I mean, but like it's not like they really knew the horse that much more than me. But like everyone was upset.
Oh yeah, of course, dude. I imagine
We did a shot for Nugget that night.
Did a shot for Nugget?
Yeah. That night, not during work. The paint horse had to be taken out because he no longer had a friend, and so they had to wait. They had to wait to get another new horse before they can let him back out into the pasture.
That's wild.
But yeah, that was rough. But yeah, no, it definitely like kind of humanized them a bit more. Because again, it was like my first week there, I think.
Yeah.
So like I still hadn't really known horses too much, but that was like...
It's a profound experience, dude.
Yeah.
It's a profound experience.
Definitely.
Alec, we got a little bit of time left here. I want to talk to you about some of your music. I know you don't have like a direct project right now that you're working on. I know you got this ranch life and you got your playwright.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the music. I know you want to be a music teacher, but what about the Shane?
Okay, yeah.
Tell me about the Shane music.
Yeah, well, I don't think you've ever seen me perform alone. You've seen...
No, I've never seen you perform alone. Yeah, I've seen... You
saw Wait For It, and you saw my band with David.
Yep.
Wait For It, I was just the bass player. David's band, I was the singer. But I do, not in a long time, but I would like gig just as like...
Yeah, no, you played at Paddy Power.
Yeah, Paddy Power. I played... There was a place in Floral Park, I want to say, I played at. Like, I would just do shows like that. Just me and a guitar. I played in the city a couple places. And so it's just kind of like singer-songwritery stuff. I play with my electric guitar just because I don't use like effects or anything, but I just like...
You like the clean, I guess?
I like the... I mean, I have a nice telly. It was expensive, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this telly.
Wait. What kind of guitar do you have?
So I have a Telecaster. It's really nice. Telecaster Elite. And so I got the guitar, and like didn't have a band at the time, and like I was just like, I want to play in this. Like I have a really nice acoustic guitar. My mom hates that I play the electric because she loves my acoustic, but I'm like I want to play. I love my electric guitar, and I also just like setting myself apart from just like every guy with an acoustic guitar.
That's true.
Because that's basically just what I am. But like I try to set it apart a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I just play like singer-songwriter kind of stuff. I have some originals. That I play. They're all kind of like...
Do you have any like place where people could hear your music at all?
I have a SoundCloud. It has one of my songs on it, and it's a recording that I don't even like. But if you want to listen to it...
It's up to you, man. You don't got to plug
people can listen to it if they want. Just know that it's not particularly something that I'm super proud of.
Gotcha. Well,
but I don't mind.
On the outro, we'll plug your SoundCloud.
All right.
Yeah. I'll plug it on the intro too.
Okay. But yeah, so I'd like to hopefully soon get kind of like my mom has been yelling at me for years to like actually sit down and record the music that I have, because I have enough for at least like an EP.
Yeah.
I have a couple songs. And they're all just kind of like singer-songwriter-y, like almost like Ed Sheeran-y kind of, I guess.
That's cool.
I don't know, they're just sappy love songs and stuff. I just love... I think I'm much more of just like a person to go see. I mean, like, I guess that's not really much to say because I don't have any recordings. Maybe my recordings, when I make them, will be really good. And like, yeah, go listen to my recordings. But like, I just think like,
Carry on.
I think more of where I would shine, or where I do shine, is live.
Gotcha.
I've gotten a lot of compliments on like my performances. I mean, like, 'cause it's very, no matter where I'm playing, I'd like to just keep it casual. I'm not like a guy up on a stage giving a show. I'm just kind of like, I'm just a guy. I'll talk.
Gotcha.
It's very relaxed. I feel very relaxed.
That's good. Then people are probably relaxed when they listen to you.
Yeah.
Is your music typically pretty relaxing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
So it's just a nice, relaxing.
You know what your
experience.
energy is. That's very good.
It's just very mellow. Just kind of like, I like having it. Like, I'd like that kind of. I'm not some grand artist performing a show. It's just
You're
like,
just
hey,
a guy. You're Shane.
Yeah,
You're Shane.
I'll crack jokes everyone.
Is there going to be any country influence now that you've been in Arizona?
Probably not. I've been thinking about that, but I don't know. Because, I mean, like, I didn't even listen to that much country while I was out there. I kind of was thinking about, like, trying it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It doesn't really influence me that much.
That's fair.
I was thinking about trying it, but I don't think it would have that much influence. Who knows? But maybe I'll start writing stuff and you'll hear it. I don't know. But, I just like having a very broken down setting. Like, my mom hates it. Everyone makes fun of me because when I'm performing, if I mess up, I'll just be like, oh fuck, sorry. and like it kind of like my mom hates it because she says it ruins it, but I like people like my friends and stuff are just like, yeah, it's very like you feel like it's just like a human...
something. I was doing a performance once where I started a song and I played maybe the first like 12 seconds and I stopped. I was like, listen, I'm just going to start that over.
Yeah.
I started it over again.
I'm all for that.
And I had literally like 3 people come up to me. All 3 of them were musicians. And they were like, dude, we respect the fuck out of that. Yeah. It's like, just fuck it. You have a way you want to play it. Yeah. Start it over.
I also downplay myself a ton. I've probably done it in this couple minutes.
No, you've 100% done it. You had like a, how do I want to put it? Like you were blushing when you were like sappy love songs, like they were nothing. But,
my mom.
No, sappy love songs is art, dude.
I like
love is love.
People, my mom would joke that like if I had a band, it would be like Shane and the Disclaimers because like every song, I'm just every time I go to start a song, I'm just like, all right, I'm just like, all right, the song is really bad. It's I never finished it. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm about to play this song. And like, I'll start playing the song, and then the song ends, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have.
I should have played that. It wasn't ready. Oh, that's hilarious, dude. You gonna start playing shows when you're back here over the summer? You gonna start doing these?
I'm gonna say yes because I really should, and I'm gonna make myself.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to come out and see you.
And I also just really miss it because I love doing shows.
Yeah, I feel
like I said, it really relaxes me. I feel very comfortable in front of like a bunch of people, just like with my guitar, just like talking and playing.
Fair.
I like it a lot. But yeah, I don't know. But before we end, if it's all right, I just wanted to say, yo, fuck Chip Gang.
Oh, so you're not Chip Gang. You're the first person to bring it up. I think you're one of the first to bring it up before I let you end with it. But so you're not Chip Gang.
I'm not Chip Gang.
How much of that is influenced by your current experience?
A lot, and not a lot of it because I was on the fence. Like as you know, I listened avidly to the Lodge.
You're a big fan of the Lodge. I want to say you're a big fan of the Lodge. You've supported the Lodge since day one. We can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough.
It's my pleasure.
I promise whatever you do, I'm going to support it.
Thank you.
Wholeheartedly. Anything you put out, I'm going to plug. You feed the Lodge feeds you.
Thank you. But so I'm a fan, so I listen to the Lodge and all the Chip Gang stuff, and I always listen to it. And I was very on the fence because I was thinking, like, I don't really like the idea of that. But then I was like, whatever. Like, I'm basically on my phone all the time anyway, and the jobs and stuff. But then, like, going out there and kind of like seeing like the other side, like the opposite side, where it's just like some of the people don't carry their phones and stuff.
They don't live that way. Like I said, different values, man.
Yeah,
different values. And for those of you who are first-time listeners, because the beautiful Shane Driscoll brought you in, Chip Gang is the idea of putting a chip in your body that can assist you with your health and your intelligence, something that allows your thoughts to be Google searches and will alert you when a tumor first forms. Like there's obviously a yin and yang to this. And it's
what Elon Musk was talking about.
Elon Musk has got something, he calls it the Neuralink.
Yeah. So it's basically like the internet in your head.
It's much more than that. It's a computer in working with your system, so that like
so it's basically like in like a car when like you have the computer in a car. It's basically
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're not about it. And look, I'm like you.
Can watch YouTube
I'm a very conflicted guy. Some people are. It's so funny. It keeps changing because I'm getting so many different people's perspectives. You know. And it's like, I'm here, I'm living the island life, I've lived the city life, suburban life. I don't forget.
More tempting.
I don't forget what it was like when I was down south in Carolina, and I don't forget what it was like to live in that kind of environment. I don't forget what a rewarding experience all of that is. And I know for myself, too, when I get older, I want to have a chicken coop.
Yeah.
I want to have things like that. You know, I almost want to, like, it's crazy. I want, like, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I want to have neighbors, but I don't want my neighbors super right on top.
I know what you mean.
I want just a little breathing room. I want them there.
Yeah.
I want to know they're there. I want to have a lot of neighbors, but I don't want them like super on top of me.
Yeah.
You know, I need a little room.
Yeah. Being here, I was definitely a lot more tempted to be Chip Gang.
Because it makes sense around here.
Yeah, but like but I was always on the fence, and then I think kind of that experience kind of showed me that like I would think I would just I don't want it. Like, I don't know, like getting out there and just like
The
working
medical,
all day.
you know what it is? It's like the medical thing is what tempts me the most.
Definitely. I mean,
You
like,
hear horror stories of people, they have no idea something's wrong with their body, and then they figure it out before, like when it's too late. You know,
But, like,
I almost like, dude, if it was something, what if it was something you could remove? What if it was something that
See,
wasn't
like-
in your brain? What if it's something that you could attach and detach?
well, see, for that, I would
I
say
feel like we would all do it then.
with that, I would say I would still probably, at least for a little while, kind of like not go with, try not to do it. But I think with that technology would come in, I could just set up monthly doctor visits and just once a month go to the doctor. They put this thing on me. It tells me.
True.
So like I could still get the health benefits, but
It's interesting. These things are bloody complicated.
they are very complicated.
I wish we had a little bit more time to talk about it. We can go more depth because I would love to have you back
Yes,
on again.
I would love to be back.
I would love to have you back on again. Let the people know where they can find you on Instagram, where that SoundCloud link is. Give a little brief of what's going on, what's to come. Shane, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, my Instagram is Shane T. Driscoll. It's just like a personal account. You can follow me if you want.
We'll be able to see windows into your adventures in the
Definitely,
Southwest.
yeah. You could see it's private, but like I just accept all my requests, so I don't even know why it's private. But yeah, no, you can see like stuff I'm doing in Arizona. I'll post if I ever have shows coming up or gigs or anything. I post about that. SoundCloud. I think it's just Shane T. Driscoll. If you search that,
We'll find it, and I'll post the link. It'll be in the YouTube description. I'll put it up on Instagram. Shane, final word? Anything you want to tell the people?
happy St. Patrick's Day. If this is coming out on or near St. Patrick's Day,
I'm either going to drop it tonight here on St. Patrick's Day, or I'll drop it tomorrow.
okay.
The turnaround time for the audio is typically
Tomorrow
quick.
is St. Patrick's Day, so
Oh, Jesus.
yeah.
Why did I think it was on a Saturday?
Just because it's the party night for St. Everyone's
I guess
celebrating
that's right.
today.
Everyone's celebrating tonight. Okay, so this will drop on. This is the St. Patrick's Day episode.
Yeah.
Welcome to the St. Patrick's episode. Thank you for watching. Time to let you go. Shane, dude, thank you so much for coming
Thanks for
on,
having
man.
me.
Can't wait to have you back.
People get. It's completely, it's off the charts. What would you be